Polly, you can also make him louder. Do you have a little voice icon somewhere that looks like a speaker?
Yeah, that's what I will do.
I
Okay.
cannot hear Andy at all, and I have him on full volume.
Okay. How is this?
Much better, thank you.
Excellent. Okay.
Much better, much better.
I also want to acknowledge some members of the Lee Rothman's family who are here with us tonight. Kira, who I've known both personally through the fact that she once helped us with some gardening projects, and acknowledge that she is in the formal period of mourning. I want to also acknowledge the presence of Joel Rothman's family. Livia Rothman is here, daughter-in-law, sister-in-law, excuse me, sister-in-law. And I'm sure other people, if we come to different moments, will be able to introduce themselves and express their participation. So welcome to Kira, welcome to Joel, welcome to Livia. Tonight, we're going to celebrate Shabbat. This is a moment in which more than ever, I think we need the perspectives of peace, the possibility of wholeness, the seeking after a horizon in life that does not consume us with anxiety, but invites us to view this day of rest and this opportunity for gathering as a way of acknowledging our humanity and an opportunity for us to heal as individuals and as a community. We're most appreciative of the presence of so many people. I just wanted to report to those of you who are new, normally we have quadruple the number of people on this email, but we appreciate your participation as well. I'd like to invite our cantor to begin welcoming the Sabbath with song, and then we'll light the Shabbat candles.
Thank you, Rabbi, and Shabbat Shalom to everyone who just arrived. Stickler for tradition that I am, I think we'll start off with a little Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Borechem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Barvuni LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzechem LeShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
May the angels of the Sabbath greet us, and may we greet each other with thoughts of peace, of harmony, and the sense that we have entered another time, another dimension of our life in which we seek wholeness.
We now go to the candle blessing. Due to an earlier Shabbat service, ours are already blessed. If you have not yet blessed candles and lit them, if you have them, please do so now as we say together the blessing for the candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
The normal course of things is that we recite somewhere deep into the service a prayer for our country, and I've asked our colleague Malka Middleman, who I believe is on with us now, to recite a prayer for our country. Given the circumstances, I think we need to connect with that, and I'd like Malka to share with us a prayer. And I don't see her. Okay, I have a prayer for our country. Our God, a God of our ancestors, grant to our country the will and the wherewithal to fulfill its calling to justice, liberty, and equality. May each of us fulfill our responsibilities of citizenship with care, generosity, and gratitude, ever conscious of the extraordinary blessing of freedom, ever mindful of our duties to one another. Bless those who volunteer to labor on behalf of all of us. May they find the strength and courage to complete their tasks and fulfill their dreams. May our judges, elected leaders, and all who hold public office exercise their responsibilities with wisdom, faith, and justice for all. Fill them with love and kindness, and bless them that they may walk with integrity on the paths of peace and righteousness. Creator and protector of all, watch over our armed forces and all those entrusted with our safety, as they daily put their lives at risk to protect us and our freedoms. Be with them in times of danger, give them courage to act with honor and dignity, as well as insight to do what is right in your eyes. Fill us with the gifts of love and courage, that we may create a world that reflects your glory. May we each respond to the charge of your prophet. For what does Adonai demand of us, but to act justly, to love kindness, and to walk humbly with our God. May the one who brings peace on high bring peace and prosperity to our world, to our nation, and keep us safe. Amen.
Amen. One of the Psalms of the Kabbalat Shabbat is Psalm 96, that invites us to sing a new song. And even though this is a song, a version of it that we frequently sing, it is good every day to sing a new song to Adonai. And I just want to take this moment to say how wonderful it is for me to see so many faces on this screen with whom I have sung many a song. The members of the Beth Hillel choir and alums thereof. It is very, very good to see you. And please God, may we be in a time where we get to hear all of you and your beautiful, beautiful voices together. This is Julie Silver's Shir Chadash. Shir Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash shiru l'Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai kol haaretz shiru l'Adonai shir chadash. I will sing unto God a new song.
We turn now to more songs that welcome the Sabbath. One of the confluences of this Sabbath is that it marks the Yortzeit of one of the great people who contributed to revolutionizing the synagogue, Debbie Friedman. And if I was to think of what was the role of music in Lee's life, the singing, the choir that she participated in at Beth Hillel and so many other places, music was central. And I'm so happy that we're able to honor Lee and to honor Debbie Friedman. So throughout the Shabbat service, we'll be celebrating this Sabbath with music, lots of music from Debbie Friedman. Cantor?
We'll go now for one more bit of Kabbalat Shabbat, and strangely, this is not a Debbie Friedman. This is a Craig Taubman, but good enough. This is Craig Taubman's Romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu le'hakodsho.
At this time, I'd like to invite everyone to rise. We're going to place the prayer book in front of you so that you'll be able to follow the service. And we're going to continue with the Baruch Hu, which is the formal way of coming together as a community. And we hope that you'll be able to follow along. That's a little bit
Whoops.
The other way.
Going the wrong way. And Rabbi, we do not have the complete prayer book here, so I don't know if I actually have the Baruch Hu on here.
Okay.
But I think most everyone here is off book, so we will rise and do it from memory. ברכו את אדוני המבורך
We continue with the prayers leading into the Shema, Ma'ariv Aravim.
Getting there. 1 second. I blew my page turn. It's... Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim b'chochma poteach she'arim uvidvuna meshane itim umachalif et hazmanim umesader et hakokavim umishmerotehem barakia kirtzono borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or uma'avir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uven layla Adonai tzevaot shemo El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam v'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'ariv Aravim.
We invite everyone, as is their custom, to either stand or remain seated to recite the words of the Shema.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed.
We continue.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
I invite you to join me in the English for the Ve'ahavta. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. Take to heart these instructions which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you get up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and be holy to our God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God. We continue with this prayers of redemption. Specifically, the prayers have a profound echo for us this Shabbat because we are reading the second book of the Bible, the beginning to read the second book of the Bible, Shmot, the book of names, reminding us of the presence in each of our lives of the names of individuals who have impacted us and made our lives significant. So the second book, one that announces that the conditions of life have changed radically from being the guests that had come under the auspices of the viceroy of Egypt and with the approval of Pharaoh, to now being the slaves. A dark period in the history of the Jewish people. But the prayer that we sing is about the conclusion that announces their redemption, the redemption of their having gone through the sea and having gone through the experience of slavery and having gone through the brokenness and struggle to experience redemption. Cantor?
This is, of course, Debbie Friedman's Mi Chamocha. Adonai, mi kamocha neda b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele. Malchotecha ra'u v'necha, bokei hayam livnei Moshe u'Miriam, ze elianu ve'amru, ze elianu ve'amru, Adonai Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
We continue with the prayer Hashkivenu, that we be allowed to lie down in peace and that we know no fears and chaos in our life. As our cantor sings, I don't know if there's a Debbie Friedman to this one or not.
There may be, but I don't know. So instead, I'm going to invite my lovely wife to try to step over the cameras and lighting gear and join me here, and I will ask Jonah to pan the camera over so the folks at home can see, and we will do the Jonas Zweibeck Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Ve'hamidenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light, Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Thank you very much.
Besides the harmony of the two individuals that we were able to hear, I heard the harmony of the rest of you, and appreciative of the fact that when we're able to come together again, we'll be able to hear that more clearly. But I heard it just in the faces of people as they're singing. And I noticed that you were all on key, which is an even greater achievement. Thank you. Vishamru, the Sabbath has been an institution that has kept us as a people, allowed us to mark the importance of work, and to know that there is, in addition to work, the spiritual care that each of us must give to our souls, marked by the Sabbath. One of the puns of the Sabbath is that it is a day of not only rest, but it's a day of vayinafash, a day of discovering the soulness that is part of the innerlichkeit that marks what we need to tend, especially in times of turmoil. Vashamru?
Debbie Friedman wrote not one, but two Vishamrus. So this is one of them. Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל עוד היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש שבת, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת שבת ויהי נפש.
We invite everyone to join us for the Amidah, the opening prayers of the Amidah. I believe that we have on screen.
Yes, we do. Screen sharing it now. And I will ask my younger son to please raise the camera so that I'm not cut off when I stand up.
And invite everyone who is able to join with us by standing to recite the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may repay your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el hagadol hagibot v'hanora, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה הכל אתה, רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממיר ומחיה, ומצמיח ישוע. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלע, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Invite everyone to be seated and to join with us in the prayers that mark the Sabbath day, the prayers of gratitude. We join together in the English. Find favor, Adonai our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer and love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants, pour your spirit upon us. And we continue with the prayers of thanksgiving that are part of the prayers that towards the bottom of the page. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shchinato l'Tzion. And the great prayer of thanksgiving that we recite every day on the next page, beginning with the words that we acknowledge. I invite you to join me. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors in every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one, whose mercies never end, O compassionate one, whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. Our God and Redeemer and Helper, let us all live, affirm you, and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you're worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Invite our cantor to share with us the words of the great prayer for peace, Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon lechol hashalom. כי אתה הוא מלך הדור לכל השלום. שלום רב על ישראל עמך תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. שלום רב על ישראל עמך, תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם. תשים לעולם.
Thank you, Cantor. Thank you very much. This time we traditionally have a few moments of silent reflection. And I know that as we experience this Sabbath, there is much to reflect on. I hope that people can look to a different vision, maybe with a horizon toward what is possible. I hope that in this moment of meditation, we can also reflect on the wonderful interactions that we shared with Lee at some point. I know that many of us will want to share reflections about her life, and there'll be an opportunity for doing that in just a little while. So at this point, we're going to have an opportunity for quiet and meditation.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו. ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
traditionally, this moment we say a word about the week's Torah portion. And this Torah portion speaks to me very powerfully because it talks about the kind of Judaism that I grew up with, which was long on social concern and commitment to social justice, short on theology. Sam Polak, who was a survivor of the Bundist movement in Poland, Polish socialist who survived and was intellectually just a wonderfully and powerful influence on my life, would lecture us in Yiddish, in the language that was spoken in Canto Park in my youth with the 30 or 40 recently arrived refugee families. And he would tell us about what it takes for change to happen. And in some ways, this Torah portion echoes Sam Polak's view of life. You see, when we open the book of Exodus, there is nothing but oppression. There are people who are crying out in pain. There is nothing but desperation. And then there are these strange alliances and powerful things that begin to happen, not from the top of society, but from the very bottom, from the least likely heroes. And now this part of what happens in Exodus was taught to me by Nechama Leibowitz, the great teacher of Torah. The first moment of rebellion against this situation of oppression and slavery was led by two women who refused to follow Pharaoh's orders. They're named Shifra and Puah, but I want you to hear their names the way the Bible heard them. They were named Chelsea and Tiffany. Two names that are not particularly Jewish names. That's what the Bible is trying to tell us. Now, we've domesticated the names Shifra and Puah for women, but they're not Jewish names. These are two midwives who do not follow what Pharaoh tells them to do. And they're smart enough to use Pharaoh's sexism against him. He wants to know why they haven't killed all the Jewish boy babies. And they say, the Jewish women, they're not like us. Before we get there, they've already had their baby and hidden the baby. Pharaoh is frustrated. The second pair of women are two Jewish women, not named here, but we know they're Jewish because they are the mother of Moses and the sister, Miriam. And they create a teva. A teva is a basket. And they have the courage to place the person named Moshe into that basket. The word teva has a double meaning. It means not only a basket, but it means a word. It means a promise. It's a double entendre. And teva is made from the reeds that will be the ultimate end of the story when they come through the sea of reeds to freedom. And they named this baby Moshe. Well, we know what the word Moshe means, especially if you can read backwards, because it means Hashem. They imbue this baby with a sense of their loving and divine care. And they float this baby down the Nile. to be discovered by two other women, daughters of the oppressor, Pharaoh's daughter and her servant. And they discover this baby named Moshe, who is floating on the words, the basket that will lead to freedom, lead to Sinai. And they, the three pairs of women, begin the process of the liberation of the people from slavery. Nothing is happening, but always the acts of freedom and the acts of hope come not from the top, but from the bottom, from every one of us that looks into the eyes of their neighbor, their friend, even if it's through a Zoom meeting, to say things can be better. This condition may be Egypt now, it may be a narrow place. That's what Egypt means. But there is a broader horizon. That horizon is where we're headed. I can't think of a more appropriate way to introduce the idea of Lee's life. A person who was not the leader of the organization, but the one who brought people together to make things happen. She was the one who said, if we can match this person with that person, that they can find mutual help. How many times did Lee invite one of us in hospice to be with a patient, and for the patient to say how powerful it was for them to have a visitor and a friend. And more importantly, in the end, was the volunteer who said, I got so much out of helping. I got so much out of making a difference. And that was a special talent that Lee had. I also remember that she was very disciplined, especially in the first 2 years of the current administration. Every morning, she would send an email. You could write to this person, you can write to that person. There's this issue that needs to be addressed. It reminded me of the Reform congregation that I was a member of, where the rabbi would speak of the challenge of today, 52 weeks out of the year, and we had 52 challenges. Well, with Lee, we had 365 challenges every day of how we could make a difference. And she was consistent and caring. No, she was not the leader of the organization, but she knew how to make a difference. For that, I link her name to the names of these three pairs of women who represent the oppressed, the bystanders, and the oppressor, who in a strange way found common cause to bring about a liberation and hope. Healing, the things that were the qualities that Lee represented in her life. And may her life blessing be a living and enduring example, especially in this time when we need healing and blessing. I know that Rabbi Malka has joined us, and we're blessed with many rabbis tonight. We have Rabbi Shana Chandler Leon, who was helping our cantor, and Rabbi Malka is going to share with us a prayer for our country and make some remarks as well. Malka, would you like to unmute and join us? Malka works with me at Skirball Hospice.
Thank you. I'm just joining you and lost the page. So if we can start with just a moment, taking a couple of breaths and looking in your heart for the prayer that is present in your heart, listening to the sound of your heart, giving your heart permission to find a rhythm that's that's not racing as perhaps it was earlier this week. Lost the page. And and yeah, can we actually come back to this in a moment, please? I was actually looking for a prayer. It's been a well, afternoon.
Okay. What I'd like to do at this point, if it's okay, is I'd like to invite um, friends and family who would like to share a little bit about Lee and their experiences with her to share with us. It will lead to our reciting the Aleinu and then the Kaddish prayer. And then we'll have, after the service, opportunity, I hope, to hear from Kira through her singing. And the cantor has also prepared a number of songs as well. So if people would like to take a moment to unmic, I would appreciate if you just, there's a feature where you can raise your hand that would allow us to Joel, maybe you would like to start to say something about your sister. You're gonna have to unmic.
Thank you, Rabbi. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for being a part of this memorial Zoom for my sister, Lee Rothman. Lee was a special person. I think that she would have been touched to see, to observe this service. She loved music. And I wanted to say, by the way, Rabbi and Cantor, I'd like to thank you very much for your participation. I've been enjoying the music also, the musical selections that you selected. I just wanted to say that that she, as I said, she was a special person, and I loved her in my own special way, and I will miss her very much. And may her soul rest in everlasting peace. Thank you very much. Amen.
Thank you, Joel. Polly.
Yes, I remember telling you all she did a tape or a CD with me. And she was amazing how much she got out of someone, myself. But at the end, she said, and what is it that you want to leave with someone? What is it that you've gone through and she made me think, what word would you have for people to go on when things happen, which I thought was very insightful of her. She gave, the word was courage, actually.
Thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I apologize.
That's okay.
Shana. Rabbi Shana.
Thank you. Lee embodied the definition of leader as someone who can take your hand and say, I've been there and I'll walk you through it. That meant a great deal to me at points of transition over the last many years. Lee could come, and she did, across a room and look right into your eyes and say, I see that you're in a narrow place. I've been down in this hole before, and I will hold you through it, and a brighter day is coming. I really appreciated that, and I have never forgotten that. Lee had a beautiful voice. It was delightful to make music with her. Her soul was radiant and her spirit was fierce. She is missed.
Thank you. Barbara, I would like to ask you, Barbara Singer, if you would share a little bit about your having begun to teach her Hebrew in preparation for her bat mitzvah.
Yeah, she confided in me once that not that long ago that she wanted to have her adult bat mitzvah because she never had one, at 13, 12. And so, I was thrilled. I said, do you know any Hebrew? And she said, no, not really. And I said, okay, I'm going to teach you. Don't worry about it. So she was so excited. So we made a plan to start after the new year. During Hanukkah, I sent her the book by Lawrence Kushner, a mystical alphabet, something like that. And I love mysticism, learning about it, and so did she. We had so much in common, and she was thrilled to call me. She was thrilled with the book, and this was on Tuesday, just a few days before she died. And I taught her the word shalom. And I said, if you learn shalom, I was going to do Shabbat shalom. So learn shalom first, and Shin Lamed Vav Mem, and then you'll know 4 letters, and then you'll only have 18 more to go. So she was just absolutely thrilled, and that's the last conversation we had. And another thing I just wanted to say about Leah is that to echo what everybody else has said, and also it's not too often where you find a friend that I would call a spiritual friend, where you can share so much with each other, and you discover that you have so much in common. And sometimes I drove her places, and then she drove me places when I couldn't drive much anymore. And we even let her borrow my car for a week, as long as she took us to the airport when we went out of town. And oh, she's in my heart.
Thank you. Thank you. Jason, did you want to share something? Jason's computer, anyway.
Yeah. Hi. Hi, my name is Erica Rothman Leibowitz. I was Lee's niece. I'm Joe Rothman's daughter. My aunt was a very special person. I feel I have a lot of similarities to her. I've been doing yoga for years, and I'm very spiritual like she was. And even though for a while she lived in California, I lived in New York, maybe that's why I was so connected to her. Maybe it was our spirituality, but she was always there for me. When I had trouble having children, she told me she told me which Kundalini yoga CD to do. And even though we were miles apart, she would always message me on Facebook and email me and ask, how are your children? I hope everybody's good. Like, she really just loved the family, and she was a very bright spirit, and I could feel her all around us. And she did love music, and my dad has a love for music, and I have a love for music. So that's a gift that we both got from her. So she's missed very much.
Thank you. So at this point, if there's people who would like to share some words together, we'll invite you to do that. But we're going to conclude the formal part of our service. And I'm going to refer back to Rabbi Middleman to share with us. Even a freestyle prayer would be good, Rabbi.
Here is, and also just to mention just a very dear memory of Lee and an inspiration, something that is a spark of her soul that continues to inspire me. And that is, it was mentioned in another way here this evening of Lee's just a personable just connectivity and just coming up and being with. It's like it's and in reflection, it's for someone who's not a quote unquote big leader, that is a big gift. That is a true human gift that I choose to stay inspired by that bravery she had in connecting with people. So I think that she also, in her heart and in her soul, would appreciate this prayer for our country, drawn largely from a Reconstructionist prayer book called Shema. Sovereign of the universe, mercifully receive our prayer for our land and the government such as it is at this moment. Let your blessing pour out on this land and on all officials of this country, both those who are occupied in good faith with public needs and those who are occupied and occupying with not such good faith. Instruct all of them, inspire all of them from Torah's laws, enable them to understand and act and from principles of justice, so that peace and tranquility, happiness and freedom might never leave this land, might never abandon this land, might return. Please, wise one, God of life, breath of all flesh, waken your spirit within all inhabitants of our land and plant among the peoples of different nationalities and faiths who dwell here love and brotherhood, peace and friendship. Uproot from their hearts all hatred and enmity, all jealousy, all vying for supremacy. Fulfill the yearning of all the people of our country, all the people who live on this land, to speak proudly and with love in her honor. Fulfill their desire, our desire, to see this land become a light to all places, all nations. Therefore, may it be your will that our land should be a blessing, become a blessing to all inhabitants of the globe, cause to dwell among all peoples, friendship and freedom. Soon fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation. Let them learn no longer ways of war. And we say together, Amen.
Thank you. Thank you. From the beaches of Beverly Hills, we have a visitor, Maury. Welcome. Good to see you at the beach, especially this
Thanks,
time of night. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it looks sunny.
Yes. You wanted to share, please.
Thank you. So I'm actually grateful to the rabbi who introduced me to Lee, and she helped me when my mother was passing away and actually arranging the funeral and a lot of difficult things that had to be done. She just did them. She got the instruction, took all the steps to completion. And I looked at it and it was done better than I could have imagined even. So I'm very grateful to her for that. And then I remember the first time I met her, she was coming to be interviewed. I'm a doctor, and sometimes people are a little uncomfortable. So I always try to think how to make them relax. Well, Lee walked in and it was, "Hi, how are you?" There was nothing uncomfortable about her at all. She was so confident and so in love with herself. She really liked herself. And I think that's where her power came from.
Mm.
That was very inspiring. She just wasn't anxious at all. And then as she worked for me, I had some carpal tunnel kind of problem, which is the fingers, there's some pain, a certain part of the hand. And said to Lee, it's kind of bothering me. She's no problem. I have a fascial massage expert. I'm a doctor. I never even heard there was such a thing. So she explained it to me. I was the student, made perfect sense. All this nice lady came over, the most loving, kind, sweet lady you can imagine. And they had been so close, you could just see that many-year relationship. And she was a huge help, better than anything that I had done before. And I was very grateful. And most powerfully for me is she was a loving mother. That was something that came up daily. So I happen to have been blessed with a pretty good mother myself. So that created a great connection. So I'm grateful to have the pleasure of spending time and learning from Lee. So
Thank you,
all of
Maury.
you have a lot to be proud of.
Thank you, Maury. We're going to rise now for the Aleinu, and I think we're going to be able to put that on the screen. Invite you to rise for the Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשינו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Thank you, Cantor. At this time, we'd like to share with you a prayer of healing for those who are ailing. And our custom has been to invite anyone who would like to share a name to do so. And I'm going to call on people. And what I would like to do is, since we have so many people, it's just this time, if you would find the chat feature. And right now we're just collecting names for the Mishaberach, for people who are ailing. If you would just put in the chat feature the names of people that you're reciting prayers for their healing. And we'll collect them, and I'm going to invite our cantor to share in a moment the prayer, and we'll just begin now to recite the names of the people who are ailing. Brad Cohen, Karina Landa, Edith Balanoff, Judith Sommerstein, Nora Bartzvi, Erica Walsh, Elaine Romero, Brooke Riva, Tina Amber Worley Blake, Michael Hyman, Michael Goslov, Bobby, Friends Mother Pearl, Jean and Terry Abrave, Rob Bloch, Sheila Milov and Jan Koloff, Rabbi Janet Bieber, Sheila Milov, Rabbi Mordechai Rindonel, Sheila Milov, Michael Hyman, Owen Karek, Renee Moran, Joyce, Susan Joyce, Jane and Isidore Broger, Rachel Furman, David Abraha, David Abrams, excuse me, Rabbi Art Levine, Elise Leontini, Rabbi Steve Robbins, Ellen Henry, Anna Henry, all those afflicted with COVID. I hope I've not accidentally skipped over any name. Cantor, I'd like to invite you to recite the prayer that will allow us to focus our energies and our hopes on the people that we're praying for.
Avotenu mekor habracha leimotenu, may the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Thank you. If I'm not mistaken, that is a
Debbie Friedman.
Yes.
Absolutely. Debbie Friedman and Drora Shettle.
We, as a regular part of our services, have a recitation of Kaddish. Kaddish is a prayer that simply says, we consign to the realm of holiness the memory of people that we love and care for. They remain with us in our hearts. They are part of our lives in ways that are sometimes subtle and but daily, because we've lived with them and they've been a part of who we are. I would begin by asking that one of our members, Lonnie, share with us a little bit about her father, who's father of Sue and Lonnie, and also grandfather of Shauna and Stacy and Eva and a whole bunch of the Nevins and Steinberg clan. Lonnie?
Okay. Sue and I were very lucky to have our father, Hi Steinberg. He went by Hi, which is a nickname. His real name was Herman Joseph London Steinberg. Anyway, we had him in our lives for 90 wonderful years. He was our role model for Jewish activism, having served as a temple president and commander of Jewish war veterans, post 603, out of North Hollywood. And he supported every Jewish cause that there was. And of course, there are always a lot of Jewish causes. And in the 50s, I particularly remember those were, civil rights days. He worked very hard to end, which I didn't understand at the time, there was anti-Black redlining, which was prevalent in the San Fernando Valley, where African Americans could not buy a house in that area. And he worked hard on that cause. And he doted on all of his granddaughters, and the only one you didn't mention was Rebecca and Devorah. Those are mine. Devorah's in Atlanta, and Rebecca is here in the Valley. And they loved him so much, and they still enjoy sharing the escapades that they had with him. We were truly blessed with his love. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there other people who are reciting Kaddish? Would you like to unmute and share names for Kaddish? Lynn?
A. Balanov, my father, 33 years, and my cousin Sharon, who was like my sister, it's been 5 years.
Thank you. Other people that we're remembering tonight? Alan?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'd like to, it's the anniversary of my sister's passing, Mary Hyman Haynes. So in memory of her, who was my wonderful younger sister. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alan. Other folks that would like to share the names of people? Invite everyone to rise as we recite the Kaddish.
Rabbi, I will just add quickly the name of Brian Sicknick, who was the Capitol police officer who passed away of the injuries he sustained on Wednesday, and Tommy Lasorda.
Yes,
because I know that Sue and Lonnie's mom would be insistent that we mention Tommy Lasorda, and I can see Dorothy talking with him right now.
Very good.
And I see, Rabbi, that there was another name put on the list later by Joe Heimovitz, Susan Weiner Turner, her sister.
Thank you. We join together in the Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shamei Rabba v'yalma divrah v'chayechon v'mechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael v'agalav zman kariv v'yimru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'lmei olmaya yitbarach v'yishtabach yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha b'richu La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechmata daviram di'ama v'yimru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the one who makes peace in the heavens make peace for all who mourn, for all who are suffering. Let us say, Amen. I want to invite Kira, if she will, to perhaps speak or sing, whatever is your want, Kira.